What's up, y'all? I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for coming back for yet another week. So if I'm looking a little tired and sweaty already, that's because I just finished giving the lawn a quick mow. Now we're gonna talk about sprinklers today, so I just wanna say, as a quick caveat, don't make fun of me about my bad edging, because I actually haven't edged yet. I haven't weed whacked nothing. I just gave this a quick cut for today's video, but I can't do any edging or weed whacking because tomorrow I gotta do some other stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and blur this out because I can't 100% show you what's in the boxes, but it just has something to do with the reason why I haven't done any weed whacking, edging, or anything like that yet. All right, so with that out of the way, last week what I did, that was on Memorial Day actually, Monday, is I went and I replaced a couple of these sprinkler heads because I told you guys I needed to. I had a couple that were just leaking and they were just broken, so I went ahead and replaced those. But then the other thing that I did is I also went ahead and dug out most of the other sprinkler heads, because when you have St. Augustine grass like this, as you guys know, it gets so thick that it just surrounds the sprinkler heads themselves and it just literally buries them. Grinding on this one. I can't stress to you guys enough the importance of head maintenance. You really need to maintain your head. Take care of it, trim around it. You definitely want to keep the area around your head nicely trimmed. So I dug them out and then I went out of town for a week. Let the sprinklers run on their normal cycles, and when I got back, then I'd be able to tell how much progress I actually made or if I needed to take more drastic measures. See where the irrigation isn't covering as well? It's covering a little better than it did, but not much. So what that tells me is that I need to take a little bit better look at this and see what I can do. What's up, y'all? All right, so we are back here in the studio and I want to point out just a couple of things, two things before we get going. The first thing is, this is my favorite old shirt. Don't you have a favorite old shirt? Check this thing out. Got this on vacation, I don't know, it's had to have been like 15 years ago and it's just held up. It's just my favorite. Looks horrible on camera, but what an awesome, comfortable shirt. Secondly, in the last video that I did from this location, a couple of you asked me about that thing up there. No, it's not a prophylactic device. It's actually a big white fat pellet. If you haven't noticed, I have a thing for pelicans, seabirds in general, flamingos to a degree, but definitely seabirds for sure, and pelicans. So that's what this is, even though it might look a little funky to you. Okay, first thing is, realize that most sprinkler systems in houses are kind of hodgepodges of this and that, depending on how many times the landscaping's been changed, and then how the irrigation was adapted or not adapted or improperly adapted to meet that new change in turf and landscape. And what I'm finding is that even though this house here is only 12 years old, same thing. It's been cobbled together pretty good. So I decided to go with these 1/2-inch inlet rotors to be used as my primary rotors. I want to keep these consistent, so eventually I'm going to replace every head with these. And I chose this K1 Smart Set. These guys are not a sponsor. K-Rain is not a sponsor. I got this for a couple reasons. Number one is because it's available at Home Depot near me, which is important, right? I don't want to have something get discontinued, and that's the other piece. This has been around for a while, so it's not like I'm going to start with this, get used to it, and have it go away. Next, price. It's $7.50 for each one of these, which I think is pretty affordable, and it's got some good beef, some good quality feel to it. And then of course I like the way that it sets. It's actually a little bit complicated. They call it Smart Set. I wouldn't call it Smart Set, but once you figure it out, well, then it's you that gets smart, and then you end up liking this. So again, not a sponsor, but I will be doing another video showing you how to set this, because I believe that the one online that K-Rain put out, no offense to you guys, I just don't think it's that good. I had to kind of figure some things out over and above that, so I'm gonna make a video later to help others that buy this unit. But anyway, that's what I'm going with, and again, 1/2-inch outlet. Even though you have these, you still got to do maintenance. Look at all these roots growing around this thing. By the way, this is a post hole digger shovel or post hole shovel. I found that this works best for almost every job, planting bushes, small bushes and stuff, as well as digging out sprinkler heads. All right, so here's a little diagram of where we are currently, okay? So you can see here our soil line, we're cutting the grass at 4 inches, right? So that's what that's representative of there, is the 4-inch cut. And then here is our sprinkler head. Now this part here, this is my existing setup actually. This is almost exactly what my existing setup is. And this part here should be residing right there, but it's low. Okay, and there's a lot of reasons why that can be. Some settling may occur, you know, whatever. The other thing to consider is that we have a pop-up that's going to come up, and if it's not popping up above the grass line, then it's going to hit the grass and it's going to affect the spray. And that's what's happening to me now. Now the head that you see me replacing here is actually broken, so I'm going to get rid of it. But if it wasn't, all I would have to do is raise the existing head up and I would be fine. By the way, on my current setup, what's there is this 1/2 inch elbow, and then this is a 1/2 inch male into a 3/4 inch male, and it's adapter. So the previous owners were able to run these 3/4 inch inlet rotors off the 1/2 inch lines. I personally don't like that. I want to go to 1/2 inch on everything, and again, that's just another reason I chose the sprinklers I did. So let me disassemble this and show you the assembly that I'm going with and how I'm going to raise it. So there's the K1, and you can see it's already smaller than the existing current units, right? So I want to go ahead and put it up here to where the soil line is first, and then measure down how far do I need to get down to in order to get to this elbow. And that's where this 4-inch riser comes in, because once that gets screwed in perfectly, you can see then it's going to be just what I need. It's going to put the head up here at the base of the soil line, and then it's also going to get me down into my supply. Now the other thing to consider is how high does the rotor pop up, and they're always going to tell you right on the label here, 4-inch pop-up height. So I'm going to want to get, again, I want to get that lip right at the soil line there, because then I got this extra pad, so when I go up 4 inches, I'll actually be up above here where everything can spray out perfectly. And that's been the issue right now with my coverage not being good enough, is these rotors that are existing, they're just not popping up high enough, and so the coverage is getting blocked by the grass in here. So one thing you do is trim it out, which you saw me do, but in the other case, we're going to go ahead and raise it. And then, so this is what you essentially see me doing. I'm screwing in this riser here into this base elbow. Then I put the unit on the top, and you can see that it comes out just right, at least pretty close to scale here in my drawing. So as you can probably tell, it's very important that you measure from the beginning, from the source, measure up to the soil line, and then also measure up to the height over and above your grass based on your cutting height.